Welcome to part 2. We talked in our last portion of the video about prevention. We mentioned about headaches, and we told you that we would be showing you some natural things that you can do. So we'll be demonstrating a hot foot bath in this particular section, as well as another treatment called a steam treatment that uses almost the same equipment. Actually, it does use the same equipment, but another feature is added. While my wife is getting the hot foot bath ready, we'll just talk about a couple things that we should mention. A lot of headaches are also caused by dehydration. Now, most people say, well, I'm not dehydrated, but a lot of people are dehydrated. If you are not drinking half your body weight in ounces, so if you weigh 200 pounds, you need 100 ounces of water a day. Now, then you're dehydrated. As my wife is working, you're seeing her drape this chair. A wooden chair is what we use, and we use various towels to drape the chair for the comfort of the person that you're helping. And there's a foot tub. And so she's going to continue as we move forward. We want to talk about constipation. Constipation is the mother of all disease, and the irritated nerves of the colon will actually cause your head to ache. They send a message because your nervous system is connected. They send a message, and you'll actually feel it as a headache. Now, we have Tara, who is joining us to show you how to do this. Now, this is a dry run of a hot foot bath. We won't actually be doing the actual hot foot bath, but we are showing you how it is set up. So you see my wife draping Tara. You see her feet in the foot tub, and what's going to happen is hot water is added to that foot tub, and maybe my wife can demonstrate that in a second, even though there won't be real water that goes in it. And she is wrapped, and so her body will collect heat, and the body will be heated. And what will actually be happening, and this is phenomenal, whenever you have a headache, remember we learned that the blood vessels in the head have expanded, and they're pressing against the nerves of the head, causing the head to ache. And so as Tara is in this foot tub bath or hot foot bath, the heat applied to her feet would actually cause the blood vessels of her feet to expand. The blood vessels expanding in the feet cause a vacuum to take place, and the blood that was pressing against the nerves of her head, expanding, pressing against the nerves, causing the headache, those blood vessels would then drain out, constrict. Doesn't mean you won't have any blood in your head, or of course you would die, but it takes the, what's the word I want to use? There's a congestion of blood in the head. So it relieves the congestion of blood in the head because the feet are now heated and the blood vessels are expanding. So maybe, Diane, you can show them. We have a timer that we use, and usually this treatment takes 20 to 30 minutes roughly, and you would begin to add the hot water. So she's just going to demonstrate as if there was hot water. Now, there would be water in that tub that would be a temperature that she could handle, that Tara could handle, of course, but then you put water that's hotter than she can handle, adding to it, swishing it around. So Diane, maybe you want to oh, okay. Do you want to show what we do on the head first? Is that what we're doing? Okay. So she's going to demonstrate how we drape the head, or how we treat the head, because remember, as the feet are heating up, the body is heating up. It will actually help if you put ice on the head. So the back of the neck. And the back of the neck. So the towel, hold up the towel real quick, Diane. Now, what we recommend is in the center part of that towel, you kind of see it has 3 divisions. If this was laying flat, you would put some ice right in the center, okay? And then as she covers it up or rolls it up, then you can put that right around the back of the neck. This is for anybody, the people you're working with. So this will never change, right? You just keep that on the back of the neck, and that helps keep the blood cool, because you don't want hot blood. Her body is heating up. You don't want hot blood to be going up to the head. You want the heat at the feet so that it will help to drain that congestion out. Now, this is a little basin, and it would have ice water in it if this was a real treatment. And this would be, she would dip this towel in that ice water, and then she would actually apply that to the head, kind of to just keep the forehead, just kind of pull her head back a little bit, and you can kind of see. So you get the picture. This is how your child will look, your wife, your husband, somebody in the community that you're helping. This is what they would actually look like. They'll be heated. And how do we use this face towel, Diane?
Well, it's submerged into the
submerged in the ice water.
And you wring it out, and not all the way. So
and that's used to
wipe
just,
the face.
right, you know, you have perspiration that's coming down in the eye, and it's just nice and comfortable to keep the face and the perspiration out of the eye. Now what we probably should do is just demonstrate, even though it's not real water, how we would actually add the water to the feet. Okay?
Then you just pour it. You would tell her to move your feet over so you won't get burnt. So
right. You don't pour it directly over the feet. Right. She's moved her feet to the side. As the water is pouring out, she's swishing it around a little bit so the water doesn't just concentrate on the toe area. My wife can pour with one hand, and the person is just who's doing the treatment is swishing it around. Because Tara's feet are still in there, a portion of her feet are still in the tub, she can tell my wife or whoever's giving her the treatment, okay, that's too hot, or, you know, I've had enough. So the person, we rely on them to tell us how hot the water is. That's very, very important. Now that brings up something that is interesting as we talk about contraindications, because if Tara had a condition like diabetes where the extremities, where her feet would possibly be damaged and the circulation would not be good, this would not be the best treatment, because Tara would not be able to tell us how hot the water is, because she would not have good feeling, good circulation, and it could actually burn her and she not know she's burned. And so one of the contraindications would be that a person would have to have good circulation in the feet. Yes. Question.
So the question, this could not or should not be done on anyone. Just, you know, if anyone has these symptoms such as the headache or those type of things, just because they have it, this may not necessarily be the best treatment for them.
That's right. That's right. We call it a contraindication. It's a good treatment to cure the headache, but we don't want to cause another problem. And so if they don't have good circulation where they could feel how hot the water is, then it's contraindicated. It would not be good to do that. We would try to do something else to help that person get rid of the headache.
Okay. What about if, say, someone was pregnant?
Very interesting that you asked that, because before Tara knew that this was going to be a dry run, we found out that there's really two people sitting in this chair. She is pregnant, but we told her it's okay because it's a dry run. As a general rule, if a person is pregnant, you wouldn't want to do this treatment. It's just with all this flow of blood, you know, the blood, the placenta, the blood is needed in the stomach area so that as the baby is being nourished. And so you just don't want to run any risks of any major shift in blood flow when a person is pregnant. Now, one thing we want to mention, my wife used this as to show the how to put the hot water in, but this is actually a tea maker. And you don't have to use this, but it is kind of nice. You can plug this in, as you see, and this could actually be placed underneath the chair. And this same setup becomes a homemade steam tent. And that even helps. Now, we use the hot foot bath more so for headaches, but if you have any type of flu-like symptoms, a cold, anytime you want to build up the immune system, you can add heat to the entire tent experience, and it really enhances the treatment. So you can convert a hot foot bath to a steam by simply putting this in. What you have to do, you'll remember my wife draped the chair. You have to be careful because as the steam is rising in the tent, sometimes, you know, the side of the thigh or up the back, you know, sometimes the steam will get there and they'll feel it. Back of the legs. So you want to really be careful and do a lot of draping to make sure that it will fill up, the steam will find the areas of the tent. It will still fill up with steam, but you don't want any steam to just directly have a direct shot at any part of the body where it just kind of concentrates and creates a problem. Yes, my friend.
Is a chair have to be wood?
We recommend wood because, especially if you're going to convert it into steam, if you can imagine if this was a metal chair, that steam would kind of heat that metal. Metal holds on to that heat, and it could become a source of something that could cause a burn. So we highly recommend wood. And plastic, of course, could melt. So that wouldn't be the best.
And we also take the temperature.
Yes. We don't have a thermometer here, but you can take the temperature. Now, these treatments, they don't raise the body temperature extremely like some hydrotherapy treatments. Some people are familiar with a what we call a fever bath, which is a hot tub bath that really gets the body temperature up. It will elevate some, but it's not uncommon that she still might not get above 100 degrees. But again, all of that is helping. Even if she's having a hot foot bath, her body is heating up. The immune system is being strengthened. Because the heat source is on the feet, it drains the congestion from the head, and 90% of the time that headache will go away, and you didn't have to take a toxic drug.
That's right. And you have to change this.
Yes, very good. This is changed. The ice is changed periodically, sometimes every 5 minutes, sometimes every 3 minutes. It just depends. But you're talking to the person. How are you feeling? Is your head cool? And because they're warm, and they appreciate that coolness on the head. So a lot of times they will even ask you, oh, can you change this thing on my head? Because it gives them a sense of relief as the head is cooled during the treatment. My wife also mentioned you give them something to drink. Now, how in the world would Tara drink? Well, you would have to hold it with the straw, place it in her mouth, and then she would drink from the straw, okay? Because obviously her hands are not free for her to grab the glass.
And don't go away from them.
Oh, absolutely. My wife mentioned that you want to stay with the person. Turn off your cell phones, and you wouldn't want to walk away and go do something during any of these treatments. It's not as critical in the hot foot bath as it is with the steam, but as the steam is going, a person may feel fine, but then 30 seconds later, the steam could build up and it be burning their arm. And it's a little challenge for her to just get out of this thing, quickly. And what you would do is if it's on whatever side, you just lift up. If it's a steam, you just lift up the covers, and it actually relieves the steam. It gives instant relief. And you might have to, make some adjustments. Sometimes we will actually take an extra towel if it's something like this type of steam generator, and we'll just put a towel over it. And it tends to not shoot a straight, it just fuses it and just allows it to. So you have to make adjustments, adjust where its steam is, adjust what's happening as you lift this up. If you have to put another towel or a towel over the arm or a portion of the leg, you just kind of have to work with it.
And you can also do that when they first get in. You can give them a towel just in case to cover.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What she's saying is that we could have handed Tara a towel, so if she has some area she wants to cover up underneath, she can actually do that. So there you have a hot foot bath. It's an excellent treatment for headaches. It is also good for sinus. Anytime there's congestion in the head, a hot foot bath is helpful. It even helps relieve some congestion if it's in the lung area, but it really shines when it's in the head area. So that's that. Remember, you can convert it to a steam just by adding a heat source. Now, before we knew about this, we used a hot plate, which, sits about that high. Then you had to put a pot underneath it. So it was difficult to find, the proper chairs to work with it. So something like this that just sits on the floor, you can plug it in, works really well. So that's hot foot baths and steams.
And when they get up, Shalom, you leave them wrapped and assist them.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. When this is done, she should take a shower that would end with cold. Okay, so she takes, she's helped up, she's escorted, because you just never know when you have this shift of blood in the body. You don't want anybody passing out. It doesn't usually happen at all with a hot foot bath, but nonetheless, you want to just make sure the person's not dizzy and they're okay, take them into the shower. And as they get in the shower, they should end that shower with a cold shower, even if it's just for 10 to 15 seconds. And then it's always best to rest for 30 minutes after every treatment. And we don't know all the reasons why, but it's not good to let your feet touch a cold floor. So have socks and house shoes ready, and as they get out of the shower, they get in the socks and shoes not hitting a cold floor, touching a cold floor, go to the bed, rest for half an hour, and usually they're headache free.
Ooh, love that will not let me go.